Welcome to the Houston Weekend Magazine. We are going to talk about PCOS and what it means and about some fun activities coming along with September Awareness Month. And for this, we have Lisa Benjamini. So welcome, Lisa. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
So, Lisa, what is PCOS?
PCOS, it stands for Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. And PCOS affects 1 out of every 10 female. And it can lead to diabetes, heart attack, endometrial cancer, or strokes. Typically, a woman or a young girl, there's 2 out of 3 indicators. One would be an irregular menstrual cycle. One would be in a big category. It's under androgen levels. So you might have acne. You might have somebody that has overweight. They might have thinning hair. Another big one would be hirsutism, where they have excess hair on their body. Could be on their belly button, on their mustache, or facial hairs. There also are symptoms like insulin resistance. There's like a whole big panel of information under that category. And the third would be 12 or more follicles or cysts on an ovary. And so a lot of times we've got these young girls that get their menstrual cycle and they have irregular periods when they first come to puberty. And they may, after 1 year, your menstrual cycle should regulate. And there's a lot of times where it doesn't regulate. They start gaining weight, they have acne, and a lot of people categorize that as she's in puberty. But it's about now numbers as high as 36% of adolescent girls should be diagnosed with PCOS. And also, there are numbers now as high as up to 40% of women diagnosed with diabetes should have been diagnosed with PCOS. If these women got diagnosed ahead of time and learned how to medically manage it and learned about the lifestyle modifications, they could actually lower all those risk factors.
And there is treatment for this, correct?
It's learning, education, it's physicians being able to manage you, and then lifestyle modifications. And with that, if you're able to learn that information, you could take care of those symptoms, the risk factors go away, but it will not go away PCOS. You will always have PCOS. It's manageable.
And you take medication for this?
You can take medication. Sometimes some people might need to take medications. Now, what also makes it's not just the risk factors. There's also a lot of symptoms. So somebody might have fatigue, or they may have like dark spots on their body, may have the excess testosterone levels, insulin levels. So they may need something to manage some of those symptoms. This is where it gets complicated. A lot of times, a lot of people don't even know what PCOS is. And I'm with the PCOS Foundation, and our mission is to spread education and awareness and teach about what PCOS is. And I think one of the difficulty or the more challenging things that we come across is that just the population doesn't even know what PCOS is. And in the U.S. alone, there should be over 7 million women or adolescent females that should be diagnosed, and less than 50% of them are getting diagnosed. And even the people that do get diagnosed, majority of them do not really even know what to do or how to manage PCOS. And that's kind of what we're here for, to try to help assist with that.
And what happens if a young girl or a woman go to their physician and they themselves don't know about PCOS? What can they do?
That's another thing too. A lot of the physicians aren't really on board diagnosing people with PCOS. And so one of the things that we feel it's very important is that we are out in the communities to explain to women and young girls some of the symptoms. You can go to our website, PCOSfoundation.org, look up some of the symptoms and kind of read about it and see if it seems like that might be you. There are a lot of people out there that will say they pretty much self-diagnose themselves. And what they needed to do is they were looking for a physician that could help and facilitate that and see if they really had that diagnosis. Now, one other part about medical care, it is a relationship. So that really needs to be understood. It's not going to go away. This is a lifestyle. So you will have PCOS. So you need to find a physician that you feel like you can communicate with and that will understand you. And don't be shy or embarrassed or afraid to talk to your physician. If you feel that way, then you might need to be looking for another physician. Also the lifestyle aspect, learning how to eat properly, the proper combinations. A lot of times there's a lot of carbs that people like to eat. Their body craves it more because they have peaks of insulin in their body. Learning how to manage that is very important too. These women that are suffering with PCOS, they're overweight a lot in their belly area. And so learning again how to eat properly and exercise or lifestyle modifications can really help a lot.
A lady or a young lady with PCOS, is it harder for them to lose weight since you're mentioning they have all these symptoms?
Yes, and unfortunately it is more difficult, and that's kind of why they need that relationship. It's not going to be like, oh, you could just do this. And I think that's another thing that makes it really difficult, that nobody really knows what PCOS is. And then if the young girl or the woman finds out that they have PCOS, then they have to explain this whole long information of what PCOS is to somebody else. And a lot of times people say, can't you just lose weight? Just lose weight. And it's not that easy for them. And so again, back to our mission of spreading education awareness just to the public so they understand about somebody that has PCOS and the more challenges that they will have with losing weight. They also have things where it's hirsutism, and hirsutism is excessive hair growth. So what happens is a lot of times they might have mustaches, and little kids will tell another kid in school, oh my gosh, you look like a boy, you look like a man, you have a mustache. But that's usually when it comes to high testosterone in their body or their hormone changes. They have some of these women have to shave, or they need to have hair removal to be able to lose that hair. I mean, they can have it on their chest, they can have it on their face, on their belly button. And when you have this excessive hair or thinning hair where you're going bald, like men, balding spots, it makes these women feel very insecure and low self-esteem, which also has a big effect for them. I mean, when it comes to how they feel about themselves in relationships, when it comes to their career and jobs. So it's really important that, again, that they understand about that and try to work on what do we need to do or they need to do to try to manage that. Another thing would be that 70% of these women that have PCOS will have infertility issues. A lot of times they're not getting diagnosed until they meet with an infertility physician. And at that point, they're about 30, 35 years old. They could have been suffering from PCOS for many years. And now they're with, oh my gosh, I can't get pregnant and I have PCOS. When they go to their infertility specialist, in most cases, their only focus is pregnancy. The doctor might be only trained to really educate them on the pregnancy component, but they are trained on PCOS because it's so many women that suffer from PCOS that have infertility issues. But when you're told that you have PCOS, and a lot of times I'll hear people say, yeah, a doctor said to me I had this PCOS, and they kept on talking. So the minute you hear the word PCOS, a light needs to come up in your head, and you need to start researching it if the physician doesn't really tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah, some doctors just tell you but don't explain it to you well, and they have their own medical words, and one does not use those words on a daily basis, so it's even harder for them to understand.
Right. And then also on the medical side, they don't usually work on all the lifestyle modifications. Mm-hmm. You've got your medicine, and when you go to a doctor, a lot of times they're just trying to help with the medical risk factors, and they're not really working on the lifestyle aspect. If they say to you, we could say, I need you to eat this way and I need you to do these exercise routine to lower risk factors of a disease, but they don't know that you're going to really do that. So sometimes the physicians are just like, I need to give you medicine so I know that at least I've given you the medicine to lower those risk factors.
Lisa, is there any natural medication for PCOS?
There is some really great products right now that they have, and they're natural products that you can get instead of maybe using the glucophage, because sometimes they're on glucophage. And there are some natural treatments. But again, it's really about finding that right place that you can go to learn about PCOS and start taking things into your hand and learning what works for you. Another thing that I like to use is analogy. It's almost like an onion. It's like lots of different layers. So just because one person can do something a certain way, the other person may not. Mm-hmm. So it's really almost like a self-reflecting and self-discovery, what works for me. And that's why that relationship's really important. And if we capture this at a younger age, then we're not high into those risk factors most of the time. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if they could just make changes of 10% a year, it really has a huge impact on their lives. That's really important.
And that is why you have several events this month. A Mary Juve Mitzbah 2013 PCOS Awareness 5K Fun Run and Walk. So talk to us about that.
Yes. We have our Amerijuve PCOS 5K Fun Run Walk, and it's September 28th. It's Saturday, and it's at the Downtown Aquarium. And it's so much fun. We have music. We have food. If you register, you get free t-shirts. You get to be involved in the event, and kids can come. We have it at the Downtown Aquarium, and then we go down to the bayou, and it's so pretty, the views. We have runners or for competition, and then the walkers can just come and just walk the course. And the course is really nice, and it's a little bit more fun. I think that's one thing that we're known for with our 5K, because we have stairs that are incorporated that symbolize the challenges that the women that are going through PCOS. So it's kind of symbolic, but at the same time, it's just a fun event. In addition to that, we're doing a symposium September 29th at the Hilton on Post Oak, and that is a free event. We have limited seats, so if you can't make the event, please don't register, but the people that can, it's a very, very good event. We have Dr. Holtze talking about hormones and how that affects your body and how to be happy with that. We've got Dr. Allon, who's talking about the newest information on PCOS, and we have PCOS Diva coming out to teach about how to discover your diva. But we have a lot of fun things. We've got DJ music, we've got free food for that event, and it's really a full day of education and information to learn about how to manage PCOS. And that you can find on our website. Either one of them you can find on our website at www.pcosfoundation.org.
And Lisa, how many seats do you have available for the symposium?
Symposium, we have 300.
300.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big event, and it's a really great culture. You're going to meet people that's suffering from PCOS in all different stages. Someone that's beginning, somebody that really knows a lot about it. There's time to talk to each other. So it's educational, and you'll learn so much. And it's really, if you think that you might have PCOS or you have PCOS, really, I encourage you to come to that event. And also, Awareness Month is September. So if you can come out to the 5K, and we made it a whole weekend. So you can come out to the 5K, show your support, and then come to the symposium the next day and learn all about PCOS and go on with your next year learning and making that 10% change.
Thank you so much for this great information, Lisa. Can you please remind the community the website for them to register for these events?
Absolutely. www.pcosfoundation.org. And also, if you want to volunteer or help with fundraising, anything like that, we'd definitely love to have your support. Anything. We take support anyway, obviously, but we appreciate it.
So you heard it, Houston. PCOS Awareness Month is this September. And if you would like to help PCOS Foundation in any way, volunteering, fundraising, or just going out to support them, please give them a call, 713-487-PCOS. And the website to register is PCOSfoundation.org. Thank you for tuning in. You were listening to the Houston Weekend Magazine. This is Kimmy. Till next time. Goodbye.
Houston Weekend Magazine is a public affairs program produced by CBS Radio Houston. Questions, comments, or information about your community event or public service announcement can be emailed to houstonpsa@cbsradio.com or mail it to us at 24 Greenway Plaza, Suite 1900, Houston, Texas 77046. Thanks again for listening to Houston Weekend Magazine.